Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. My name is Eric Allgan, and here we are, the middle of March, the best time of the year for some of us. It is Boys State Basketball Tournament Week. This is our Boys State Basketball Tournament preview show for Prep Huddle Live. I'm Eric. Tony Chapman is with us, as always, in Grand Island. And, Tony, this is a fun time of year, and we have got an absolutely loaded show for us here tonight.
Well, I'm excited. We get to go into the Metro, which we don't get to do very often. Ben Holling's on the line with us, head coach at Omaha Central. We'll also talk to Bill Morrison, the head coach at Millard West. Our two Class A schools will be playing tomorrow at Pinnacle Bank Arena. We'll also talk to Matt Shelsta at Elmwood-Murdock. They have a matchup with fellow Strive school Southern Valley tomorrow. And then, of course, we'll bring on our good friend Mike Sautter from NebraskaHSHoops.com. And Mike and I and you will try to pick some winners and see if we're any good at this thing. So it should be an awesome show. It's going to be way longer than a half hour. So strap in and we'll have as much fun as we can.
Yeah, when we were putting this together and I started emailing coaches and everyone came back and said, yeah, I'd love to be on the show. Well, it became very apparent that, yes, we're going to blow way past the half-hour limit that we've been trying to stick to here since the first of the year. But we do have Coach Holling of the Omaha Central Eagles. They're 18-6 on the season. They're the 7th seed at state, taking on the 2 seed Creighton Prep. That game, 7 o'clock at Pinnacle Bank Arena coming up tomorrow night. Coach, first of all, thanks a lot for coming on the show tonight. You guys are district champions this year after missing state last year after 4 in a row. Talk a little bit about the team and how they've kind of progressed throughout the season to get you to this point.
First of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. We've progressed a lot quicker than I probably thought we would have up to this point. Missing state last year was obviously a disappointment, but we are very young. So I didn't know, if state was going to be attainable or not this year, and I certainly probably wouldn't have guessed 18-6 was attainable. So we've developed a lot quicker. We've got some guys that are just gym rats, and they've gotten a lot better since November till now. They get better on a pretty much weekly basis, so that helps to have a team like that.
Introduce us a little bit to the Eagles. It doesn't take long, like you mentioned, to look at your roster and see just 3 seniors on there. So obviously there's been a lot of guys that have had to kind of grow and develop throughout the year.
For sure. We are our starting lineup consists of 2 seniors, and then we have our point guard is a sophomore, and he played last year as a freshman. That's Roman Barons. He's our leading scorer. He's our leading assist guy. He leads us in minutes. He's second in rebounding, believe it or not. And then our other go-to guy would be Isaiah Poorbear Chandler, who's a junior. He leads us in rebounding. He leads us in shot blocking. I think he's second in the state in field goal percentage. He's our second leading scorer. So we're pretty young, and our 2 best players, one's a center, one's a point guard. They're both coming back. So it's always good to have a big guy, and it's always good to have a good point guard. And fortunately, I have them both. So good for me, I guess.
Coach, let's talk about this matchup with Creighton Prep. You guys have won 11 of 12, and that one loss is to Creighton Prep, a 57-44 loss earlier in February, late January. But you beat a few state tournament teams in that 11 and 12. How do you feel like you guys are playing now? And then also, what do you have to do to turn the tables on the Jays, who obviously won it all last year?
Yeah, first of all, we're playing as good as we can be, which is great. I mean, it is March, like you guys said. It's an exciting time of year, and we're playing as good as we can be. So that's good. Sometimes you're going limping into state tournament or limping into districts with injuries or what have you, and that's definitely not the case with us. And then secondly, to answer your question about prep, we're going to have to find a way to score to overcome their length, overcome their depth. They're super long. They play a lot of guys. They keep kind of coming at you. So they're kind of set up for a 3-day tournament. They really are, but fortunately for us, we only have to play them once. So hopefully we can find a way to beat them.
Coach, talk about the tradition at your school, if you could, just a little bit. I know you've just been coaching here at the last few years, but you've been at the school for a while. Can you just talk about what it means to coach basketball at Omaha Central and to follow that tradition that Coach Barons had got started for you guys, and just what basketball means to the people at the school as well?
I mean, it means the world. The tradition there is, I'm sure everybody has their own version of their tradition of their school. I'd like to think that ours is the best for the simple reason of it seems like a joke, but we don't have enough room for our trophies, and a lot of that's from Eric, not really from me. But we've won a lot of games, we've won a lot of tournaments, and the school's been around for a long time too. So it means a lot to the community. It means a lot to the school. Honestly, people at the grocery store that see me wearing a Central shirt and they say, "Hey, how's the basketball team doing?" Even though they don't even know I coach basketball. So I think it means a lot to people that went there because we get to do stuff like this. I get to be on Strive Sports right now. I get to be in the World Herald today or whatever you want to have it, and it opens up a lot of doors. I think for to give the school recognition for even people that went to the school that didn't play basketball.
He's not joking, Eric. 43 times at state, 19 times in the finals for Omaha Central. So it's true. That's quite the history there.
And 10 times a winner in those finals. Coach, talk about what it means for this group of guys to be able to represent that school and all of the history that you just spoke of at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And slowly but surely PBA is getting its own history. It's getting its own memories made there.
I think it means a lot to the kids. To play at Pinnacle Bank, it's such a nice arena. It gets sold out all the time. These kids go home and they see it on TV, on the Big Ten Network or whatever ESPN. They see that arena. It's going to be awesome for them to play in front of it. And then even somebody like Roman. Roman Barron's has been to every state tournament probably since he's been 5 years old. And I'm sure it's a huge, huge deal for him to be there. Kind of making his own mark too. So I think it's got some special aspects on a lot of different levels.
Coach, just one more before you go. You briefly mentioned Isaiah Poorbear Chandler. I think a lot of people would maybe say he's probably one of the most improved players in the state. I know talking to Mike Sautter, he's got some attention from Iowa, from Colorado. Talk about how his game has improved from year to year, how much from last year to this year, how much that has meant to your success this year as well.
It's going to seem like coach speak, or it's going to seem like I'm it's just because he's my kid. Isaiah Poorbear Chandler gets better on a nightly basis. He got cut from his middle school team, and I know that's almost impossible to imagine. He's 6'9", 270 pounds. He did not play middle school basketball. So his first time playing basketball was his freshman year, and his first time playing varsity basketball was last year. So he gets better every single time I see him, and he's like a sponge. If I tell him something, he tries it over and over, and he gets better at it. The sky is literally the limit with him, literally and figuratively, I guess, because how tall he is. But yeah, he's very, very phenomenal.
Coach, it'll be a lot of fun to watch you guys hopefully progress throughout the week. Again, that matchup coming up tomorrow night, the 7th seed Omaha Central Eagles and Creighton Prep is the 2 seed, 7 o'clock there at PBA. Coach Ben Holling of the Central Eagles, thanks a lot for taking some time tonight.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate it. I want to tell you guys, you guys make it really, really easy for a lot of our fans to watch our games, those fans that can't get out. So we really appreciate everything you guys are doing over there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate that very much. And
Thanks.
We will be, speaking of that, Taylor reminds me that your game tomorrow night will be live audio on the same Strive channel that you're used to watching the games. We've got, of course, the NSAA has the post-game
so
stuff.
We put that out on our Twitter site, so we want all our fans to know, the ones that can't make it down there.
That's awesome. That's what we're all about. Coach, thanks a lot. We'll see you in Lincoln.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, well, Tony and I, we're going to take a real quick break, and I love it when coaches can give us a plug, and we don't actually have to ask them for it. That's so cool sometimes. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Coach Matt Shelsta of the Elmwood-Murdock Knights in Class C2. Got an all-strive matchup to talk about. That is next on Prep Huddle Live.
I never really imagined that I would be a diesel technician. I started out in a whole different other field and then kind of worked my way and stumbled my way into it, and I enjoy every day of it.
The people that I work with are great. Even if you're having a bad day, they find some way to try to make you laugh or smile to try to brighten your day up. It'll be a life-changing opportunity. So there's a lot of good things that this company has to offer.
Cooked
favorites, and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Seedsmanship is what truly sets Channel Seed apart from other seed brands. It's our unmatched ability to provide you with the expert advice and customized service that helps you get the most yield out of your acres. It's the added value of year-round service combined with elite seed products that you only get from Channel Seed. At Channel, we know the importance of staying connected. As seed experts, we look to get the most out of your fields by putting ourselves in them throughout the season. That's seedsmanship at work.
Come to the 3rd Annual Tri-County Job and Career Exploration at the Holtis Convention Center, March 22nd from 2:30 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by York, Hamilton, and Fillmore Counties Economic Development Groups and funded in part by the York County Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. Joining us now on the Truck Center Company's hotline, we've got Elmwood-Murdock coach Matt Shelsta. He's got his Knights in the C2 tournament. They're 22-4 overall this year. They take on Southern Valley, another Strive school. They are the 4 seed, and their record at 21-3. That's a 7 o'clock game tomorrow night at Lincoln's Northeast High School. So it should be a lot of fun. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us here on a Wednesday night. I know it's an exciting week to try to get the emotions in check so that you are everyone's in line and in focus on the same time there at game time coming up tomorrow night.
Absolutely. It's a really hard time of the year, too, when you play 3 games on a Tuesday, Thursday, and then the district final on a Monday. And then you got 10 days off to get ready for the state tournament, probably the biggest game of the year. It's a hard thing to do, but our guys are, focused, ready, and just excited for this moment.
Coach, thanks for being on with us. Talk about your second year at Elmwood-Murdock and the first state tournament appearance since 2009. Talk about making the transition down to coach there and how you feel like the program's done these first 2 years. Obviously, got to be happy with how the season's gone.
Are happy with where we're at. We have goals every year that we set for our guys, and it always ends in the state championship. I don't think you can really look at your season and not have that as your year-end goal. And we're lucky enough to be in a spot to do that. Only 8 teams in C2 have a chance to do it, and we're very happy with where we're at. Coming down from Omaha, I was real excited about having a small town. I'm, born and raised in Omaha, so everything I knew was just kind of big and fast, and I really wanted a small town feel. And these past 9 days have been really exciting to see the community just rally around our kids, something that I've never really seen before, and I love it. I love being a part of this community. The guys are really being taken care of, and we've got a good thing going. We like where we're at in year 2, and we want to just keep it going.
Coach, you mentioned that the community support is great. What's it like in the hallways with these guys? You got a couple of seniors on your squad. You got a pretty youthful squad though, so these guys got to figure out how to get through the day of class before they can worry about practice in the afternoon.
It's hard. It's you make it to state tournament and you've got one thing on your mind, and being a young boy, you've probably got very few things on your mind. And the guys are so excited for it. I know these past couple of days have been really long, and you're thinking about only a few things. But they've really done a good job of focusing on the task at hand. We know that Southern Valley is a very talented, very well-coached, disciplined team. They play fast, they press, they do so many things well.
that we know it's going to be a challenge. We know that they're so good that we're going to have to be on our toes all game long to be successful. Hopefully we can make some good things happen.
Coach, my dad was a basketball coach as well, so I want to ask you about your dad and the impact he had on him. If our viewers don't know, your dad Terry was the coach at Omaha Benson, and you got to hang around Andre Woolridge and Kenya Crandall when you were a little kid. So that was one of my hero teams growing up too. Can you talk about what your dad's meant to you and what it's like for you now to bring a team to the state tournament, having seen your dad do it a few times?
Oh, it's growing up as a coach's son, you see so many things, you experience so many things differently. You're a gym rat. You're in the gym all the time, even when you don't want to be, and you don't realize how really fun it is. A great way to grow up. I saw my dad deal with kids and situations in different ways, and I'm so thankful for that. I saw how he handled different things, and I really appreciated how not that we didn't talk about a whole lot of things, but he just showed me, and it was an example of how to treat kids and how every kid's not the same and they need different special attention. And so what we're really trying to do is I'm trying to be half the man my dad was. I'm just really trying to do things the right way, the way he would do things. And if I can almost be half the man my dad was, then I think I'll be pretty successful.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your matchup now. You mentioned Southern Valley. They're 21-3 on their season. It's a 4 versus 5 seed matchup at state, which maybe is a little different with the playoff points, if you will, as far as true matchups. But it seems like on paper this one should be a dandy. Coach John Miller's got a couple guys that average double figures. You got a couple guys that average double figures. What do you see out of the Eagles?
Oh, they're very talented. They're going to press us all game. They're going to go back and play just a crazy havoc-wreaking 2-3 zone. We've got to be ready, and you got to take care of the ball. We know that they're the state leader in turnovers, steals. They're just going to try and mess with you, and we've got to be strong all game long. And we know that they're going to make shots on offense. They're going to provide so much pressure on defense that if you're not ready, then they can have a 6-0, 8-0 run like nothing. And they're so dangerous that if you're not ready to attack it, if you're not ready to go after them, then they're going to get you. And it's going to be a real fun matchup. 4 or 5 matchups are usually really good in the state tournament. And, everybody's talking about everybody else in our C2 bracket. Everybody's talking about Winnebago and Amherst, Ainsworth, and St. Cecilia. And that's fine with us. We're just going to kind of hopefully fly under the radar and see if we can do some good things on Thursday.
Well, Coach, you actually took the last question out of my mouth. I was going to ask you, is this one of the best C2 brackets that we've seen in a long time? Because there is some good firepower at the top, and you guys are seemingly completely under. I read a lot of previews today. I don't think I read anything about this game.
Yeah, and that's fine with us. That's kind of our motto. We really don't like press. We really don't like all the hoopla. We let everybody else take all that credit. That's fine. We're such a balanced team that we have so many people on different nights score 15 to 20, and it's not the same guy every night. And I think our team really takes pride in not having 1 or 2 go-to guys. We can really share the ball. We can play well together. And there's times when we can't. We're high school kids. We're not going to do everything perfect. But we really, it is a balanced field in the C2 tournament, and we're really happy to be a part of it. If people are saying that C2 is the most complete class state tournament, we're really happy to be a part of it, and hopefully, we can make some good things happen and make it tough on some people.
Well, count me as one that is very excited to see what the outcome of your first-round game will be, because the rest of those first-round games are going to be equally as good. That's Coach Matt Shelsta of the Elmwood-Murdock Knights. Coach, thanks a lot for taking some time on a Wednesday night, and best of luck to you and the guys this week.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, Tony and I, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we will talk with Millard West coach Bill Morrison. Prep Huddle Live is brought to you in part by Dickey's Barbecue in York, where every day you can get their Duke deal, big barbecue pulled pork sandwich, a non-fried side, and a little yellow drink cup for just $4.99. They've got great catering ideas as well. Dickey's Barbecue in York. This is Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
I love it. It's fun. It's a fun industry to be in. Meet lots of different people, do lots of different stuff. There's always something new happening,
So far I've been enjoying it since I've been here. It's been great, learning new stuff every day. I recommend anyone coming and work here because so far the working environment's friendly, everyone's kind, and also the new guys that come here, they'll gain the confidence that they need just to come and work.
I like how everybody around here is, we all kind of become real good friends. It's like a second family here. It's not something you would come to just work for a month or two. It's something you'll want to stick with forever.
Come to the 3rd Annual Tri-County Job and Career Exploration at the Holtis Convention Center, March 22nd from 2:30 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by York, Hamilton, and Fillmore Counties Economic Development Groups and funded in part by the York County Visitors Bureau.
Seedsmanship is what truly sets Channel Seed apart from other seed brands. It's our unmatched ability to provide you with the expert advice and customized service that helps you get the most yield out of your acres. It's the added value of year-round service combined with elite seed products that you only get from Channel Seed. At Channel, we know the importance of staying connected. As seed experts, we look to get the most out of your fields by putting ourselves in them throughout the season. That's seedsmanship at work.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. Now we bring in our third coach of the night, Millard West coach Bill Morrison, leading the Wildcats into the Class A field. A 15-9 record this season. But, Coach, you had to sweat it out a little bit during that district final. You guys end up claiming the lone wild card in Class A and now take on Omaha South. 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow at Pinnacle Bank Arena in the first round. First of all, Coach, thanks for coming on tonight and talk a little bit about district final night in Class A. It's a little bit different because you've only got one wild card. What kind of emotions go through the kids' minds and your mind as you go through that night, knowing, hey, if we win, we're in. If we don't win, we might be and we might not be.
Well, leading into the game, I don't think it really changed anything. Obviously, you're going to go in there trying to win. We knew that we didn't have the wild card for sure. But after the game was really weird. I've never been in that situation. And the kids were down, but we knew we weren't necessarily out. So it was just kind of a weird thing. I said, you know what, go home, wash your uniform, and if we're in, we're going to practice, and if not, we'll check in stuff tomorrow. So it was kind of weird. We just didn't know what to think after the game.
Coach, introduce us to the Wildcats here, if you could, a little bit. I'm looking through your roster, and you got one guy over 300 points in Shea Wyatt, who I know has been a great addition to your team. But your other four guys all around 200 points for the year, so you've got nice balance. Just introduce us to who your leaders are and what they bring to your team.
Well, we're really balanced. We have 5 different guys that have scored 20 points this year in at least one game. Shea's probably, he is our leading scorer. He can score from the outside, and he can put it on the floor a little bit. But I really think they're all pretty unselfish. Both Shea and Simon have broken our single-season three-point record. Simon is primarily a shooter, but he also leads the team in defensive rebounds. Austin Hall is a third-year letter winner, second-year starter, and he really kind of runs the show. And the game's really slowed down for Austin. He sees the floor better. He knows when to shoot, when to pass. Colby Gomez he's really come a long ways this year. He hasn't played a whole lot of basketball. He's a Nebraska baseball recruit and just a really good athlete, and he has really improved as the year's going on. And then Logan Andrzejewski he's just a great athlete. He's our starting quarterback on the football team. He plays a 5 for us defensively, and he's only 6'1". So he's undermatched, but yet he's not, because he's so athletic and so competitive.
Coach, as I look at your roster, I notice a similar trend to our other Class A counterpart in Omaha Central. Not a ton of seniors on your roster. You guys got a few more. But then as I also look, steal-wise, you got, 5 guys over 30, almost 30 steals for the season. So defensively, you guys really kind of take, obviously, a little pride in taking the ball away from the other team.
We didn't even notice that we had that many steals. I don't know that we're forcing more turnovers than we have in the past, but what we are doing a little better than we did in the past is we're stealing it and getting layups out of it. We really try to make passing lanes tough. We don't get out and deny passing lanes, but when teams drive, we really try and take away the passing lanes as they're driving. And then, our guards are a little quicker than we have been in the past. We've kind of been inside dominated the last few years. So that's part of the reason. We're also playing 4 guards this year. So,
Coach, talk about this matchup with Omaha South. Obviously, they are the number 1 team in the state for a reason. You played them twice. It was 73-49 the third game of the year, and then I believe you had them in the Metro tournament. And that was only a 12-point loss for you guys, so it did get a little better the second time. What do you guys have to do to play with South and to turn the tables and maybe pull an upset here tomorrow afternoon?
Well, the biggest thing I think what we have to do is we've watched a lot of tape on them, and they score a lot of points off of turnovers and offensive rebounds. So we need to take care of the ball, first of all, and make sure we block guys off. We can't just go for the rebound against these guys because they're so athletic. They get up around the rim. And then the final thing is we've got to shoot the ball well. And we have all year. We make 5 or 6 threes on a bad night. So we usually do shoot the ball well, and we took care of the ball the first 2 times. The problem was every time we turned it over, it seemed like it was a layup for them.
Coach, as you get into a matchup like this, is there anything that you tell the team the night before during pasta night that you try to put them in maybe the right frame of mind so that when they wake up, that's what they're thinking about?
After we found out Tuesday night, I texted everyone and told them we were in. Wednesday, some of the underclassmen came to me and said, "Coach, push us. We're going to go get these guys, and it's going to lead us into next year." So I really didn't have to do that. They have practiced. Today they were a little loose, but we weren't doing a whole lot either. But they came. We're going there to win this. And what we've said, too, is it might be better to play them on the first day than the third day. I don't know, whatever, but to win, someone's going to have to go through South. And I'm sure there's 8 teams down there that think they're going to win the title.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to watch you guys and listen to you guys. And this game, again, will be broadcast audio-wise on the Millard West Strive channel, so an opportunity for some of those young guys to do some broadcasting. So we can't wait to see what transpires tomorrow afternoon there at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Coach, thanks a lot for taking the time. Best of luck this week.
All right, thank you.
All right, Tony and I, we're just going to catch our breath this time, and when we come back, Mike Sautter will be on the line from NebraskaHSHoops.com. This is a great opportunity. If you don't already, follow Strive TV on Snapchat. The Snap code will be up there. We will be back on Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. Because we wanted to see it there again. Yeah, the Snapchat filter you saw was taken by Taylor last week in the girls' state basketball, and the Strive Sports state basketball filter on Snapchat will be available again this week. Pinnacle Bank Arena only on Friday and Saturday this week. So if you're at PBA and taking Snapchats, hey, snap one, use the filter, swipe to the right, or the whichever way, because I'm on the camera and I'm looking at the screen, so it goes one way or the other, and snap it and send it to us and let us know where you're at in PBA. So we've got Mike Sautter of NebraskaHSHoops.com. We bring in Mike a couple times a year to grace us with his presence and his infinite knowledge of high school basketball in the state. And Mike, this is a fun time of year, maybe the best week of the year. Every class bracket looks really good. So let's get right into it. And if you can, give us 5 guys to watch, not 5 burgers to eat at Five Guys, but 5 guys to watch that you're especially keeping an eye on during this tournament.
Sure. I think everyone's just going to go with the obvious question or obvious answer of who has the highest recruitment and things like that. So your Ed Chang is a given because a lot of people just haven't seen him play ever. Husker fans will want to see a Rope play or a Glucka Rope from South. But I think the 5 guys that people know about or maybe don't get to see very often are the 5 that are averaging, the only 5 players that are averaging more than 20 points coming into the state tournament in any class. So I'll just start in D2. Henry Tanksley from Lincoln Parkview Christian, kick and jump out of the gym. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's averaging 21.2 a game, 9 rebounds a game, 3.4 assists a game. So he's one to look out for. Now, if you go to C2, this could be very interesting. So Ainsworth and Amherst, that game is going to be, someone could score 100. Brady Delamont, he's walking on at South Dakota. He's averaging 27.6 a game, 4 rebounds a game for Ainsworth. Then David Winget for 27.8 a game, 11.5 rebounds a game. I think plenty has been talked about him. I think his name is kind of out there a lot, and obviously people will pay attention to Winnebago. Next would be Dawson Graham from Gothenburg, 20.2 points a game, 3.7 assists a game. Saw Gothenburg play in the Heartland Hoops Classic. That guy's shot his form on his shot. I don't know if he's working with someone or not, or who taught him that, or if he just self-taught, but it's almost perfect every time. Just the form, not saying it goes in. But he's a pretty good athlete, plays really hard, and really can has a nice stroke to his game. He has nice strokes. You move up to Class B, and you have Drew Cookshausen, 22.8 a game and 5.5 rebounds a game. That's pretty impressive. I think if you look at people's predictions, a lot of people have Scotts Bluff making it to the final against a Gretna, but I think those are kind of the 5 kind of under the radar-ish guys that people just kind of need to keep an eye on, if you will.
Awesome work. So, Mike, about a month ago, Eric and I had a discussion on who was going to call the semifinals when we were going to be down there, and so he picked Class A for boys, and I picked Class C2. Who do you think made the better choice on which semifinal session we get to watch on Friday night?
It's the session. It's not just C2 and just A. So I've got A, B, and C1, and Tony's got C2, D1, D2.
Okay. Well, see, then it's not.
I'm going to be like Blake Shelton. Pick me on The Voice. Pick me.
I think if you look at, man, it's tough because Ainsworth Amherst winner, whoever wins that, you most likely would see a Hastings St. Cecilia play that game. And, a little bit of contrast of styles there. Then you have the just Winnebago phenomenon if they can get by West Holt. And Elmwood-Murdock, Southern Valley, I think, is a coin flip. Against the Fremont Norfolk Prep. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a tough answer there. They're all four should be pretty good games. It depends. I guess if you want to see the more athleticism, if you will, you probably go with the A. But if you want to see a really good defensive team, you'd probably go with C2. And if you want to see a high scoring team, like I said, if Winnebago can get by West Holt, then that's what you see in C2. So that's a very political answer, but that's all I got.
That's all right, Mike. I got one that maybe we can stump even you on. We were looking at the first round games, and it's sometimes it's easy to get the roster breakdown and get the names to know and the numbers. And this guy averages 20, and this guy averages 18, but he averages 9 assists, whatever. But as you look at the brackets throughout the state tournament, what might be the best coaching matchup in the first round?
Got one for you. I think Gretna York, Coach Feakin and Coach Lamberty are both really good coaches, and I do think, and this is obviously not a slight to York because I love Vicky's Barbecue in York, but I think that I think that York is probably a year ahead of schedule. Brady Danielson and the Snodgrass kid are freshmen, and Brady's the second leading scorer on the team, and John Irwin Jr. is the leading scorer on the team for York. I think that they're probably a year ahead of schedule, and in 2 years I think they'll be right up there at the top. And then obviously you have Gretna, Coach Feakin and Coach Hurd are two guys that have been around the state tournament quite often. Coach Hurd being the assistant there when won state championships with Ralston. So I think that's probably the best coaching matchup, if you will.
All right, and then we've got the fun part, I think, now, and we're gonna test you both because I've seen some of these elsewhere. We're gonna go class by class. And Tony's going to give us a pick, Mike's going to give us a pick, and then what we're looking for is not just the winner, but the dark horse that could make some noise and maybe ruffle a bracket, maybe break a bracket, bust a bracket. Right? We're in March. We can bust a bracket. So let's start. You guys want to go top bottom or bottom top as far as class? Or do you just want to start,
Mike?
Let's just start in C1. There, I'll pick it for you. Let's start in C1. Mike, who do you like in C1, and who's your dark horse?
Oh, I think Newman is probably the prohibitive favorite in C1, and dark horse would be Gothenburg. Because Ty Clement,
that's no fun.
That's my.
I actually completely agree with Mike. I think Bishop Newman is probably the team to beat. I think they were probably one of the better C1 teams there last year, and I think if Mike can correct me, maybe, but they were kind of bitten by illness a little bit while at the state tournament. But I think Newman is the favorite. I like Gothenburg as a dark horse as well, and I think that Pierce O'Neill round 4 will be the first round matchup to watch. I think that'll be a fun game to see.
All right, then let's move on to Class D1. You've got BDS as the 1 seed. They take on Archbishop Bergen as the 8 seed. We've got an all-strive matchup with DCS and High Plains. High Plains, of course, the defending state champs. So who do you guys like in D1? Tony, you're up first.
Well, I'm going to pick BDS to do the football-basketball double, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I actually would pick them probably to beat Lord Central Catholic, which would be a sub-district final rematch. But I think my dark horse, I'm going to take Walt Hill. I just feel like with Winnebago being down there, them being so close, and I think the proximity of the communities, I think they could have some firepower crowds with them, and then that could maybe propel them. So I'm going to take BDS to win it, but Walt Hill as my dark horse.
And tough to pick against BDS. I do like Lords. Lords is for a C1, or actually for a Class B and under team. Listen to this. They have 6'8", 6'8", 6'5", 6'6".
Is that tall?
BDS, yeah.
That's crazy for Lords. So,
and BDS ain't got anybody over 6 foot. I don't think. Maybe the 6'1" guy.
Yeah, but I do think I kind of agree with you, Tony. I think BDS is probably the team to beat. I would probably let's go dark horse with High Plains. Kind of throwing that one out there. Thomas Young, I liked him in football, and then I in the football season when I saw him, and then I liked him obviously last year in the state tournament. So we'll go with dark horse with High Plains.
Fun stuff. All right, let's move it to Class B now. And a lot of Class B, whether we're talking about football or basketball or any type of state competition, always seems like it's got some just a wide array of teams with talent-wise because, boy, it seems like the schools out west in Class B are just usually loaded for some reason. You've got Scottsbluff out there. They're the 1 seed. You got Sydney Aurora is a first-round matchup. Scottsbluff and Platteview, love that first-round matchup. There's some really, really quality teams. You best be on it from the opening whistle in the B bracket. So I believe it's back to Mike to lead things off.
Sure. I do think this is going to be kind of odd, if you will, but I think Gretna is the granted they're not the 1 seed, but I do think they end up coming out and winning. I really do. They are just so balanced. They're so well coached. They have the 1 or 2 best player on their team in the whole class. Jared Samuelson and Bennington's Bart Hiscock is right there too. So you're splitting hairs basically on the player. And my dark horse, I'll go with Bennington. I think, Bart put up 44 points in their district final. 44. So he's capable of kind of just winning a game by himself. I did see Bennington beat Scott earlier in the year. So I'll go with Bennington as the dark horse there. I do really like Scottsbluff, though. Man, they can shoot it. They have size. If they don't eat at Old Chicago like they did, 2 years ago and get food poisoning, I think they probably come out of that side of the bracket. But we'll go with Gretna and Bennington.
This is really starting to be no fun. I agree with Mike again. I think Gretna beat Scottsbluff in the final. I really look forward to seeing, I can't say his name, Cookshausen, I think is how you say it, but I really look forward to seeing him play. I don't know if calling Aurora a dark horse is much of a pick, but I think that they're focused enough that I think they could give Scottsbluff a really good game in the semifinals and advance to the finals. But I'll pick Gretna to win, and I'll take Aurora as my dark horse. I guess they are the 5 seed, so that'll be my pick. But I like Gretna Scottsbluff in that final.
We'll take that. We'll accept both those answers. Let's go down to Class D2. I think an interesting way this bracket ended up setting up after districts were done. Meade climbs to the top, not just of most rankings, but actually of the playoff points, because they had to beat Humphrey St. Francis in a sub-district game, and then they beat Riverside in the district final. So Riverside ends up, and Humphrey St. Francis end up with wild cards, which was kind of head-scratching to think of as they went through the year. But Meade kind of hung around the top all year and then made an incredible push to get to this point. So this seems like a really interesting D2 bracket.
My turn, right? I'm going to pick Meade to win it. You just look at what Meade has done. They play in that ECNC, which they've beat Elmwood-Murdock. They've played Louisville. They played Johnson County Central. I mean, they've been playing up all year, and they've done it extremely well at 23-2. And I know we got Strive School Riverside on the other side. I'm going to take Riverside to turn the tables on Humphrey St. Francis and get to the final. But Meade beats Riverside in the in the final, and I think following along with Mike here, I don't know if taking Parkview Christian as a sleeper is legit or not, but Parkview Christian is a team much like me. They've played up all year. They played just a tremendously difficult schedule. I know they played Boys Town, and so they've played a lot of C schools. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that set of semifinals, if all the top 4 seeds advance, could be really good on Friday afternoon.
I'll go. I'm gonna kind of go upset here, and I'm gonna take Parkview to win it. I just think their schedule. I mean, they played Boys Town, and like you said, Tony, I think that the schedule really prepared them for this gauntlet, if you will. Now, if they have a close game in the first game, I mean, it's 3 days here, so you got to have more than one guy. And Nosa, they're a big 6'8" guy there. I don't know, for some reason I just believe in them, and so that really can't be my dark horse. But I do like Riverside also. I mean, Tanner Hudson, I've known him and his family for a long time, and I would see them kind of getting on the other side. So how about this? I'll go Parkview as my winner, and I'll go Riverside as my dark horse because they're the 3 seed.
I'll allow it. I'll allow anything. I'll take you pick a winner from any side there, and maybe this opens a new can of worms, but I'll get a quick opinion from you, Mike, because Tony, I know your feelings on this thing. But when you seed by playoff points, that has a little different effect than if you seeded by something else, I suppose. And so maybe a 4 versus a 5 seed matchup doesn't have necessarily. That's just a straight mathematical formula, so it doesn't have necessarily a different kind of feel. Usually you'd say that 4 versus 5 should always be the best first-round matchup, right?
Yeah, I mean, the 4 or 5 should always be the best first-round matchup, you would imagine. It's kind of like the, I guess, what is it, 8-10 or whatever in the NCAA tournament. So you would imagine that would be. Now, I will say in D2, I think that the 3-6, I think why not's pretty decent, and I do think Parkview could be in a little trouble with its own murder.
Well, see, that's why it will be fun. All right, fellas, let's go back up to go to the top. The 2 brackets that probably are going to garner the most attention over the next couple of days in Class C2, where they will begin their games at Lincoln Northeast, unless you are the 1 seed in Winnebago taking on West Holt. They moved that game, the NSAA did, to Lincoln Southeast. If you have not heard the news, they announced that yesterday, expecting an overflow crowd, and it's still an 8:45 tip-off. Doors are going to open at 7:30, I believe. You can buy a ticket online ahead of time, but it does not guarantee you a seat. This is as far as I know, and it seemed like from Twitter yesterday, it seemed like as far as anybody knew, this is an unprecedented move. But obviously, Winnebago bringing a lot of people to town, West Holt bringing a lot of people to town, and by the way, they would have to try to squeeze in after Southern Valley and Elmwood-Murdock. So moving the entire game to Lincoln Southeast. First of all, Mike, great move by the NSAA, or just like a why not kind of move?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. And the key point there is, hey, yes, both those teams are going to bring a lot of people, but where are those people going to wait before their game? What are they going to stand outside? I mean, so I think that was kind of the thinking. It's not that Northeast can't hold that many people. I think they could. It'd be tight. But I think it was more of, where do all these people go while they're kind of waiting for their game to start and the stand to clear from the previous game. So I think that was probably a smart move. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. I think we're on to are we on to Mike again? Anyway, leading off with the picks. So let's get to it. Who do you? Let's put it on paper. Who do you like in C2, Mike?
And this is tough. I think this is the toughest bracket to kind of pick if you're going to pick a winner. I just think seeing kind of three of these teams, and I've seen two more on film. I just think St. Cecilia, with their schedule, has gotten them kind of ready. I think they've played a little bit tougher schedule in Winnebago. I do think it'll be Winnebago and St. Cecilia kind of making it to the end, to the championship game. But I think Brooks Asher just is probably a little too much. He's such a good athlete and smart. And I just think and I think it'll be very close. I wouldn't obviously be surprised at all if Winnebago won it. But I do just kind of think St. Cecilia this is kind of their year to get it done again.
Now, I will not let you take Winnebago as a dark horse, though. So if you're picking St. Cecilia,
let's go Ainsworth.
Okay.
6 seed, might as well.
Sure, why not? Tony, who you got in C2?
Well, I think I'll go chalk here, and I think Winnebago, Southern Valley, Amherst, and St. Cecilia win. And I agree with Mike. I think St. Cecilia and Winnebago make it to the final. Just because Mike picked St. Cecilia, I'll take Winnebago. 55 of 56, I believe, is the number that they've won. And I think the key to this game, and Mike may or may not disagree with me, I think the key to this game will be if this game happens, I think we'll know by 10 minutes into the game how good it's going to be. Because I think the key always has been with Winnebago, especially last year, is they run you out of the gym in the first quarter. And so can St. Cecilia clamp down on defense and play good enough defense that they can keep Winnebago from jumping out to a big lead in this game? And St. Cecilia is probably going to want it in the 50s, and if Winnebago can get it in the 60s, it's going to be to their advantage. But I think that the night session on Saturday could be something we're talking about in 15, 20, 30 years. I think it could be that good.
I think quick before we move on here too is it's funny because I always stay till the very end on Saturday and everybody leaves for that last game. If Winnebago and Hastings St. Cecilia are in it, man, there's a lot of people in the building.
They're going to have to open the top of PBA, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, probably, I would imagine. And it's literally that last 8:30 game, the C2 game, is always kind of So, but I think, I think it could be a pretty special kind of environment there. And Tony, I think you're right. If first 10 minutes of the game, we'll kind of find out. But Guardian Angels kind of held with Winnebago, and it was a tight game too. The key for Winnebago isn't so much David Lingett; it's Aspen LaPointe, the transfer from South Sioux. He's their point guard. He's really steady. He can shoot the ball really well. So I think he's kind of the key for them. So.
And, of course, the game that would precede the C2 game would be the Class A game. And we've talked, everyone has talked throughout the year about Omaha South. They're 25-1. Their only loss was to the Overland High School team of Aurora, Colorado, in Grand Island during that Heartland Hoops Classic. They have played, obviously, very well. They've got some name guys that are going D1, if not looking at D1 already. They seem like a favorite. Creighton Prep is a defending champ. Boy, this class, and I love the 3-6 Fremont versus Norfolk. Maybe the best bracket to watch literally every single game might be in Class A. And I think we're back to Tony to lead things up.
Boy, yeah, this is a tough one. I agree with you, Eric. I think you've got 4 really good games here in Class A. I'm going to go with Omaha South, obviously, to win it. I'm going to pick Omaha Creighton Prep, a rematch of, I think, a really well-played Class A final last year, but I'll take Omaha South to beat Creighton Prep this year. I will take Norfolk to beat Fremont in the first round, and I'm actually going to take my dark horse to Central. I think that maybe they've got the pieces that they could maybe give Prep some issues. I think that's a matchup that Omaha Central, the way they're playing, probably feels okay about. So, but boy, man, too, I think that Papillion La Vista Northeast game in the first round will be really good too. And everybody will want to talk about Ed Chang, but Mike, maybe you can tell them about. I saw Tyson Shattuck play 3 times in Grand Island this year, and that kid is really good. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Class A matchup as well.
Obviously, I think I'd see a lot of Class A basketball and just proximity to where I live. But what's funny is that each one of these games, you could make a case that the lower seed team could win. Each one. Mm-hmm. And I'm dead serious about Omaha South, Millard West too. You could make a case that could happen because Millard West gave them a heck of a game in the Metro tournament, quarterfinals of that. So if Simon Hay and Shea Wyatt are shooting the ball really well and they rebound, Logan Andrzejowski kind of matches up with Khalil Walker enough and things like that, you could see it happening. Northeast, Tyson Shattuck is offensively one of probably the more gifted guards, if not the most gifted guard in the state. I'm saying just straight offense. He's pretty skilled offensively. And Tyson and Io Akinwole matchup is a great matchup too. And Prep Central is another good one. Central's kind of rolling here towards the end. Had a tough stretch there where they had a week there where they played like 3 ranked teams in a row, and Prep was the last one of them. But I think that my dark horse was Central. So Tony, I kind of agree with you there. And Fremont Norfolk beat them by how many ever points the first time? It was a lot. But I don't know. I think Fremont is pretty good. Their top 4 are pretty good. They're really good. And Christian Harmon would be kind of a guy that no one ever really talks about enough. Played 1 year of football and is going to Drake University in Des Moines to play football. So I do think that South probably ends up winning it all. They just are kind of on a mission and have been, and they've had a few close games, but not really a lot. And I do just think that they probably get it done. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a Prep kind of give them a really close game, or a lot closer than what people think. Prep's length is really good. Prep is deeper. That's part of the 3-day. It's a 3-day deal here now. So if Central, or my thought is South, the best case scenario, they get up big real quick against Millard West, and they can rest some of those guys in the first game. Then they're not playing 3 full games. I think managing the minutes for South is going to be very important for them to win a state title. I just do. Their core 6 guys is who they have. That's kind of what they tried to do last year. It didn't quite work for them. So I think that's going to be something to sort of watch out. If Millard West kind of pushes them and those guys have to play the whole game, then, come Saturday night at 6:30, could have some tired legs and things like that. So, but I do think South ends up winning it, and what a great story that would be. I mean, Coach Chubbuck, I'm not sure if anyone kind of deserves it more, just as a lifetime career achievement award, if you will. So I do think it'll be probably Prep and South, but I think South gets it done.
Well, fellas, this has been maybe the best half hour we've ever had on StriveSports.com. This has been an amazing breakdown, hopefully, and I tell you what, we're gonna have to put the SoundCloud just of this part together, and we'll put that up a little bit later tonight, or share that tomorrow morning, because it's a really good state tournament preview, if you want, which is why we called it the State Tournament Preview Show. That is Mike Sautter, NebraskaHSHoops.com. His site will have an immense amount of information over the next 3 days. That's a good one to go to. So if you can't find it on Strive Sports, go to NebraskaHSHoops.com. Mike, thanks a lot. We'll see you in Lincoln, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Sorry for being a little long. I got a pack now to be in Lincoln for 3 days. So.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. We'll see you there.
Yep. Bye.
All right, Tony, we're at 8:30. We got to the hour mark like we thought we would, and then we thought we wouldn't, and now here we are. So, final thoughts as we get out of here and send people off with a few words of wisdom for the end of the show.
Well, it's going to be fun. I mean, I think this is as good a weekend as we have in the high school sports calendar all season. The tradition of being in Lincoln, no matter where you're playing, that first day is just really fun. Tomorrow, one of the great days, I think, where you have, I can't even do the math. What is it? 4 times 6 classes, 24 games from 9 in the morning till 10:30 at night, and so. Just really fun, and I think the community spirit around the whole thing. And I loved Coach Shelsta's comments about him growing up in Omaha and not having a community really surround a team that his dad was coaching, and how he enjoys that small town aspect of the whole team, the whole community being behind their team. That's really neat to see in the smaller classes, and you see it in the bigger classes too. Aurora will bring a town, York will bring a town, Scotts Bluff and Sydney will bring a town, and that's not even to mention that Fremont-Norfolk game. They might fill Pinnacle Bank Arena up the way those towns travel. So it should be a real special day tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to joining you guys on Friday and Saturday and watching these stories come to life.
Tony mentioned Friday. Of course, we will have video streaming coverage. We are the production arm of the NFHS. That's the National Federation of High Schools. And on their network, they partner with NSAA, Nebraska School Activities Association, for those of you not up on your alphabets just yet, to produce the semifinals of all of the semifinals in all of the classes. So that was the conversation from earlier tonight when Tony and I were talking about who took the Class A versus the Class C2. So I will be with one crew at Pinnacle Bank Arena on Friday, and Tony will have another crew at the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Friday as well for the semifinals. And, of course, first round action for our Strive schools. We've got 12 Strive schools that are in the state tournament. Every game, we are very happy. Taylor did a ton of work over the last couple days to get crews and laptops and everything kind of organized and situated. But we are very happy to announce that we will have an audio broadcast of every Strive team in the first round. The double Strive games will be on the higher seeded. So, for instance, if I don't even have my page pulled up, but I know the Southern Valley and Elmwood-Murdock game, that will be on the Southern Valley page, and that's where the link goes, I think, on our State Basketball HQ. And then the other one is in Class D1, DCS and High Plains. That game will be on the DCS Strive channel. In fact, I think I'm broadcasting that one too. Yeah, I get BDS at 10:45 and DCS at 2 o'clock. So we have a whole basketball page that just has the audio broadcast and all of the links on it. So you can look for a state audio broadcast that's on strivesports.com. And as we go through the day and get into Friday, then we can upload the recordings of those games. And again, they're just audio, but we do have the full use of the scoreboard, so you can follow along pretty easy there. But if you can't make it to the game, especially those first-round games on Thursday, that's a great place to do it. To listen and to watch for a certain extent. NSAA.tv is the website that we stream through on Friday for the semifinals, and then everybody takes a deep breath and lets NET handle the championship games. They do a fantastic job with all of that. And, of course, don't forget that the NET games aren't just on NETV. They are also streamed online, just like all of our Strive games as well. So an opportunity to see them outside of the NET normal TV coverage. This has been a fantastic night. And again, don't forget to add us on Snapchat. Taylor Siebert will have a funny picture somewhere on Snapchat over the next couple of days. Follow along with the story that we have. If you go to PBA on Friday and Saturday this week, take a snap and swipe right. You'll find the Strive Sports State Basketball filter. And share that with your friends and let them know that you were at PBA Friday and Saturday. This is shaping up to be one of those kind of weekends that you might be writing a story about here in 15 or 20 years, Tony Chapman.
That would be fun, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of which, hey, we're going to take an extra minute anyway. You had a chance to do, and it turned out incredibly well, a fantastic article with some of the Aurora boys basketball teams. They are back in the state tournament this year. The Penners and the Holidays have a really unique story, and you did a fantastic job. Give us a brief summation of what you got to talk to them about.
Well, you should go. You should go click on the page just to see the cool photography work that Taylor Siebert did with that one. So, um, it was at Grand Island Senior High when Aurora advanced and won the district championship, and I saw Henry and his dad taking a picture together, and it just made me want to kind of go after this story. Henry's dad, Kirk, was on the 1987 Aurora State Championship team, and then Bill Holliday, who's the all-time leading scorer in Nebraska history, is Hunter Holliday's grandpa, and Bill was the coach of the 1976 Aurora championship team. So I was able to go hang out at Bill Holliday's house last night for about an hour, and we sat a recorder on the table, just talked about those two state tournaments and about what those two guys meant to those kids. And man, it was fun. I mean, it was, as a kid who grew up loving basketball, it was about as much fun as I'm allowed to have in a day. So I'm glad it turned out the way it did, and appreciate those guys letting me in, and great kids too, both of them. So uh, if you have 10 minutes, it'd be great if you clicked on that link. We'd love to have you read the story and share your thoughts.
And it was really, really well done there by Tony. We hope we can do some more stuff like that on strivesports.com, but that is our more than our time for us here tonight. Thanks to Cornerstone Bank, Truck Center Companies, Channel Seed, and Dickey's Barbecue, the broadcast partnerships for Prep Huddle Live here on strivesports.com. This is it for the winter sports season. We'll kind of catch you here and there throughout the spring sports. So for now, we'll say see ya in Lincoln.